All right, do you guys just see my Word doc there?
Yes.
Yeah, it just showed up.
Yep. All right. So this is the same study guide that you guys have access to in the video. And I just kind of highlighted, we shortened the test. I think it's 14 multiple choice and it's 1 FRQ. So that will be done on Schoology. It'll be like 40 minutes. You'll have 40 minutes to take it. 14 multiple choice, and then the 1 FRQ. So just kind of going through it and talking about the Constitution a little bit. Obviously, they created one in 1906 to begin with. And it modeled all that Western constitutions. They had different branches, separation of powers, gave people rights. But the real constitution that we're concerned about now is 1979. So after the Iranian Revolution, that Ayatollah takes over, the supreme leader, and they run their government based on a theocracy, meaning they follow just the religious aspect, and all their government structure follows their religion. So the ones that are highlighted are most important. Knowing the powers of the different supreme leaders, or of the supreme leader, that is more than just a figurehead. So if you look at the Queen of England, is very figurehead, doesn't have many rights, right? So the supreme leader is a leader of the state, but also has power, so they can vet candidates. You can get rid of the president. Has some command over some armed forces. Will also nominate some of those members to the Guardian Council that we talked about, and is the #1 cleric in the country. And a lot of these positions, you have to be a cleric or an individual that is religious in order to participate in the government. Some other things, they are Shiite Muslims, which is the minority in the world, but the majority in Iran. Women do vote. They do get an education. However, they have a very limited role in government, which is important to know. Different elected positions there, the Majlis and the Assembly of Religious Experts. One of the things for the Assembly of Religious Experts to remember is they no longer have to be religious or clerics. Some of them, the similarities, so Mao's revolution, similar to Iran's, you had Mao, who was very charismatic, same as the supreme leader, very charismatic, want to change society, get rid of some of the secular ideas in Iran, and get rid of some of the Western thought. Again, the main goal is to get rid of those secular beliefs and ideas. Looking at checks on the supreme leader's power, the Assembly of Religious Experts can actually dismiss the supreme leader, but they most likely will not. We already talked about the Queen of England.
You drop out for anyone else?
Yeah, he's gone. Yo, Steve, can you give us a couple of punches right now, or
What do you want?
dude, can you go work out real?
Oh, you see that, huh?
He's back on the screen.
He's sort of back.
Back.
Everyone turn your camera on. This is no fun.
I'm not on my
Yeah,
Chromebook,
you're back.
So
Two policy-making bodies, people that actually make laws, the Majlis, the Guardian Council. If they have a dispute, the Expediency Council will then kind of determine who they want to side with. They usually side with the Guardian Council. You need to know that the president is the #1 elected official in their government. Okay, so they are voted by the people. They're head of the government. They can do all the treaties. They budget. They don't have to be a cleric. Supreme Court, you have to be a cleric. Guardian Council, you have to be a cleric. Supreme Leader, obviously, you have to be a cleric. And then theocracy, we talked about, strictly ruled by religion, which is the government strictly ruled by religion.
can you go back to 21, please?
Yeah. This part right here?
Yeah. So like, is that in the law, or is it like a thing that like all of them normally are?
It's in the law. So religious experts used to have to be, and they got rid of that provision. So you can just be an individual. Like religious experts used to be like you'd have a master's in theology of some sort. You don't need that anymore. You can just be a normal citizen or politician. For these, you have to be a cleric. And the Supreme Court makes the most sense because you are interpreting the law based on Sharia law and the Quran. I'm gonna let you guys look at a couple of these other things. They're not addressed as much on the test, but authoritarian regime, comparing and contrasting different authoritarian regimes. So one leader, small group of leaders hold the power. China would do this. Russia's done this. Iran does this. They limit your civil liberties, limit civil society. Let's see, Sharia law, God's law should reign supreme. All of their law is based off of that. Now they have to create it, but it is based off of Sharia law. So it's based off their Islamic teachings. The biggest part, this is the add-on to the study guide. So something, again, we're going to probably have to focus more on FRQ. So because if you're taking the AP test, it is only going to be FRQs. So looking at the FRQ, looking at different options, we kind of changed it up to fit what might be on the AP test. Looking at different formal powers, we kind of talked about formal powers, supreme leader, but they are commander-in-chief. They can appoint half of that guardian council. They're head of the judiciary. They appoint some. They approve of some of the Supreme Court justices. They can vet candidates, meaning they can get rid of a lot of the majlis or presidential candidates. So again, if they don't align with the supreme leader, they just get rid of them. And then if you're comparing two countries, official positions that the head of state holds for China, you look at the general secretary, so the head of the party, but then becomes the president. And another position that the head of the party or president can hold is commander-in-chief as well. So there's a similarity there between the supreme leader, where they're kind of commander-in-chief. For similarities for their authority, they are both appointed by government bodies. They both have constitutional powers. They are written in the Constitution. And both of these individuals, supreme leader and the head of the party in China, came out of a revolution. And then one of the differences between China and Iran, their leaders, in China, the party or political experience is a source of authority, while in Iran, religion. So China, the leader kind of looks at maybe economics or the ability to make laws and do things. That's kind of the authority. Where Iran, because it's the head cleric in the country, that's where a lot of the authority comes from.